here with Robert Howard. Robert, hey, thanks for taking the time to talk to me today.
Absolutely.
Hey, so I want to before I get into your wrestling, tell me a little bit about your experience going to watch Final X. Were you there in Jersey?
Yeah, it was. And obviously, obviously, when we heard that it was going to be at Rutgers, it's like 30 minutes away from my house. We immediately bought tickets. And it was awesome. Um, I just really wish that some of the matchups that they put on the card, would have been out there.
Right,
Can't blame Dave, can't blame Taylor, but I mean, if those two matches and those two series were back in the rack, that place would have been going crazy.
right. It was a pretty good stuff. I mean, just with the whole thing with Zayn and Yanni, and
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah. Um, I just wanted to see some good wrestling. After I found out that like those two series weren't going to be in there, I was just like hoping someone was going to, take it upon themselves to go, wow the crowd and like go wrestle. Like everyone paid to go watch like good wrestling, and those two put it on there. So that's all you can ask for.
gotcha. Now, when you go out in public, you're a Jersey guy and you're committed to Penn State. Does anybody give you a hard time from Jersey when you're walking around, or is that just on Twitter?
Much on Twitter. I mean, it's not so much when I'm walking around. It's a lot on Twitter. Mostly because like when I travel,
It's been a little bit since you did your three-peat,
yeah.
winning cadets. What are your thoughts about that?
Um, it's a great accomplishment. I think that if you're going to be the first to do anything in this sport, it's kind of a big deal. And that wasn't my goal going into Akron. Be the first three-timer. It was let's go get another world team and let's go win a world title, because that's been the goal since we started this 2 years ago. So it's great to make a third team, but that's not where this stops. Like we're not stopping here, because I won that tournament twice already. Like that's like it's like a qualifier. It's like not it's not the goal.
So,
So
more excitement when you won it the first time?
yeah, because I was gonna go do something that I had wanted to do for a long time, and I hadn't had the opportunity yet. Now I've been out of the country like 3, 4 times, and I've wrestled the best kids in the world, and I'm kind of done losing to them. So we'll go out and see what we can do against these kids in Bulgaria.
Tell me a little bit about wrestling outside of the country. What did you learn the first couple times you've been out there that's going to help you? I know, traveling time zones, different food. There's all sorts of different things you need to get acclimated to. What
hmm
what will you do differently, or what have you learned about yourself that helps you do better when you're traveling?
I think like just keeping a positive mindset. Like if you can control, because you can't control a lot. We have delays and layovers, and you get out there maybe a day late, whatever, day early, and you kind of just have to go with it. Like you can't do anything. And the only thing that's going to keep you going is a positive mindset. The only thing that's going to keep you going is just wait. Saturday will be good. Saturday I'll make the weight. We'll be wrestling. Don't worry, I'm ready. But if you let your mindset slip up, and I hate this weight cut. Like this is so much. Like you're gonna lose, and you're not gonna do well. Um, so I think what I did at the Youth Olympics and in Akron a few weeks ago, I think I kind of just went out there and I was like, this is not the goal. Your goal is a world title. Just go out and showcase your skills, have some fun this weekend, but keep your eyes on the prize. And that's why when everyone kind of like made a big deal about the third world team, it doesn't mean like my third world team doesn't mean anything if I don't bring home a medal. So we have some work to do, and we have some work to we have some positions to get better in throughout the summer, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's gonna be a great time.
How much weight are you cutting to get to? And what's your relationship like with cutting weight? You already brought it up. Just tell me a little bit.
Um, it's it's kind of just like whatever. Like I mean, it never like makes it usually doesn't make or break me. Um, Especially not during the season. I mean, 26 is easy for me to make. I kind of can make that on like a day, 2 days kind of thing. But 21 is a little harder.
Yeah.
21, it's kind of just like a diet. Um, don't really slip up, work out, and then the last week I'll probably be like 6-7 pounds over going in, and then it's just a grind. Grind that last couple pounds off and make sure you go into Worlds feeling good, and that's the plan. Because I'll get like bigger. I'm not going to disclose what I weigh right now, actually.
Okay.
But I know it's going to come off because it always does. And the first couple pounds fly off. So I'm pretty confident in my weight cut.
Gotcha. Do you feel that is there a mental difference between 21 and 25 or 26?
I think it's just a mentality of like, when I'm at 26, I'm kind of like, I'm not cut all the way down to the weight that I could be.
Yeah.
When I'm at, I don't know, this is just me. Like when I'm at 21, like when I'm like emaciated and I feel like I'm ready to go kill someone. Like I just did this to myself.
Yeah.
I put myself through this, and now these kids are gonna see why I'm look like this and why I came here.
It's interesting. So has it always been the way? I always think that people who don't cut weight necessarily don't find a mental edge of toughness sometimes from that. And have you always felt that, or is it just something as you're getting older?
I mean, people who don't cut weight, like that's great for them. More power to them if they can do that. But I think cutting weight has taught me a lot as a person. I've been in my basement, in our little workout room, just grinding. When it gets hot in there, you have to keep going, and it just makes you do stuff and learn things about you that you probably wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah.
Because like, when else are you going to be in a hot room in a plastic suit grinding because you need to make 55 kilograms?
Right.
And that's the only thing in your head, and that's the only thing that could stop you, is if you were like, no, I don't want to go do that. But because I do, and because I love this, I do it every time. And it's just about a push, and it's a mindset, and some people don't have it, and some people do. And I think cutting weight has given me, that little extra mindset, definitely.
What kind of self-talk do you have when you're grinding or wrestling, and is it the same?
I normally, like, I listen to music. I definitely make sure to put on some music when I'm running. But then I'll either I'll bump to the music a little bit, or like I'll just kind of just sit there and, if I know who's going to be in my bracket, maybe I'll think about what they do and, think about how a match could play up and think about my strengths. But I kind of just tell myself, I have little quotes all over the room, like where I run, and I'll look at those too. But mostly I'll just tell myself that I'm the best.
Yeah.
Like, you're the best. No one else is doing this right now. No one else is in a 12 by 12 room running. It's 90 degrees in here. Like, no one else is doing that. So then going back to that, once I get in that routine, just going back to that every day and just self-talk every day. And then when you have other people, like my coach, Rich Potato, Joe Trouse, all these guys, and then you got the Olympic Training Center and Kevin Jackson and all those guys are telling you can be the best in the world. You can be the best in the world. You just have to go do it.
Do you have a favorite motivational quote you can share from your basement?
Oh, I'm going to draw a blank, of course, because I'm on the spot.
No problem.
Yeah, oh my God, I can't think of
So
it.
you've had a bunch of big wins this year. You've had a great year. What are your personal highlights? Is it the cadet, qualifier? Is there something else that goes through? Is it something small?
I was kind of unhappy with my season this year. I definitely dropped 2 losses that I was not supposed to. And the other state final one, like, I don't really mind that one. People kind of ask me about the state finals all the time. I'm wrestling for world team, so you can take all the state titles you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was kind of in a weird place this year. Maybe not having that mental edge that I kind of wanted to have. And yeah, I'm not happy with some of the losses some of the losses I took, but it was a grind of a season, and it really taught me, because I'm a junior now, or I was a junior this past year. Um, you know, there's going to have to be some guy who steps up next year on the team, and it's most likely going to have to be me. Um, so all this time I've been watching all these leaders, lead Bergen Catholic, and now I'm stepping in that position, and it's like, oh, like kind of unfamiliar waters here.
Yeah.
So it's just learning to get, better and more mature all at the same time. I think that was a big thing this year. Learning how to mature, learning how to, just do things.
Who've been your biggest mentors?
Do things different,
Oh,
and independently.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Who have been your biggest mentors along the way?
Um, my biggest mentor in wrestling is definitely Rich Patena. He's just the coach. Like, that's my guy. He made me from probably about to quit the sport in 7th grade too. And then you have great people and great coaches like Dave Bell and Eleazar DeLuca and my dad. So I just feel like I'm filled. I'm just filled with great people around me. I feel like if I were to ask either one of those men a question, I would expect more or less similar answer. Yeah,
Okay.
that's kind of how I see them all.
Gotcha. Before we move away from freestyle, is there a difference to you mentally between how you approach folk or freestyle?
I've been trying to figure this out for a while. I don't know if it's mentality. I think it's just like I know how to score points in freestyle. Or I know how to score points in folk style, but like some kids in freestyle I feel like are so unaware of how easy points are to pick up. Like I could just roll you across your back and that's 2 points. Like that's easy. In folk style I can grab a leg and you can roll on your back and you can stand on your back for 30 seconds, and if I don't get control, then no one gets any points.
Yeah.
So I kind of just like the aspect of if I get to my shot in freestyle and I look to come up, I'm more than likely going to finish because this guy's not going to be able to just hold on to my leg. Because that's not wrestling. Holding on to people's legs, like when you're holding on for dear life and you got nothing better to do, like that's not wrestling.
Yeah.
So I kind of I just think that folk style doesn't always reward the offensive wrestler properly. And in freestyle, the guy gets hit for passive and he goes on a shot clock, and there's a bunch of different variables if you're not offensive in freestyle. Push outs, everything like that. So I think my style might play more, or it works better with freestyle. I think my style, because offense gets rewarded.
Yeah. All right. New Jersey is surging with talent right now at the NCAA level.
Absolutely.
On the national team. Tell people a little bit about Jersey wrestling and what makes the state so dominant at the highest levels.
I think that it's running. I think the fact that it's running deep now, like through all age groups, and I think that wrestling is becoming big, especially with the success of Ashton and Soriano this year at Rutgers, bringing 2 national championships back to New Jersey. I think a lot of people are starting to pay attention and realize now that this is a sport that we're good at, and we can be good at this for a while if we start building now. So I like when people ask me in public, like, "Are you Robert Howard?" Like all that stuff, like kind of just laugh and just like, yeah. But like the tradition and the spirit is here. Because I was walking on the boardwalk the other day. Like 5 people asked me, like, as if I'm like a celebrity, as if I'm not like a high school junior. Like, it's just kind of ridiculous at this point. But it's just, I think that people are paying attention now, and I think that it's real, and I think that people should pay attention and should gravitate toward the best wrestling in New Jersey. Because when I was growing up, it was always, oh, we're chasing Pennsylvania, we're chasing this, we're chasing Ohio. Now it seems like, we're Jersey, and like everyone's coming after us now. So
it's interesting. I've been around a long time. I had never seen a wrestler on a billboard until I saw Nick Suriano on the Jersey Turnpike a couple years ago. I mean, it
Yeah,
seems like the
man.
state is becoming rabid, and it's always been a powerhouse, but it's at the point where it seems like they're, you know, I don't know, stepping out of the shadow maybe of Pennsylvania, and
Yeah, I mean, we're having a lot of success,
yeah,
and it speaks to the NJRTC, and they're doing a great job, and Rutgers and Princeton are doing a great job, and they're bringing senior level team members in to come train, and they got a great coach, and then all over the state we have great coaches of clubs, um, who are sending wrestlers to great high schools, and I think we're kind of just in a really good development process right now, through all ages of the sport. And I think it's helping us tremendously.
now, you mentioned earlier that you almost quit in seventh grade. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that and what drives you to succeed at wrestling?
Well, I was in seventh grade and I hadn't found the coach I'm working with yet. Um, and I was kind of just going to this club and I was kind of just like beating up everyone. It was like, there's no one here for me to wrestle. And at that point, like I had won like the league or whatever, and I had been a state champ already and like all this stuff. And I was like, oh, I did it. I was like, I did it, all of it. No more reason for me to be in this sport anymore.
Okay.
State champ, we're good. Um, and then actually, one of my great friends now, Joe Kangro, his mom just happened to text my mom and reach out saying they were having like a practice like north, like 35 minutes. I'm like, okay, we'll take the drive up. Oh my goodness, I have never been beaten up so many times in such a little. I was like, all right, like obviously I suck at wrestling, so now we're gonna have to come here. And then, from that day forward, I stayed in that room every day grinding for like 2 years straight, just every day, just making sure I could do everything I could. Because I walked in that room and I don't know how many times I got taken down the first night, but I walked in, I saw Sammy Alvarez, Joe Kangro, Nick Kal, Nick Ramo, like just a bunch of really good dudes. And it's just like my heart dropped and I wasn't ready for it, and I don't know. And it was a bad night.
So, how old were you when you started wrestling, and what drove you? And was it always like that to be the best, or what is it that fuels you?
It's just I think it's a fear of being mediocre.
Yeah,
I think I don't want to ever be, kind of just that guy in the background in the crowd, or that guy who's just, at the conference, but he's not like the boss. And that guy, like I just don't want to be some guy in the background. And I think that kind of what drives me. I like doing cool things, and I like that. God gave me the ability to do cool things, and I think I'd be a fool, to waste them. And I think I'd be a fool to not work hard and to show everyone what my full potential could be.
what do you love about the sport?
It's just, I think I like when the whole process comes together and like everything makes sense, and you're like, that's why I did that, and that's why this makes sense, and all the way up through, and then you win, and then it like now I see the whole process, and like the weight cut was good, the training was good. Like I think when the whole process comes together and everything works out, it's like a great plan. Like I think that's what I like most. Like when we can sit down and be like, this is gonna happen, and we're gonna be prepared for all of it. And I think that when that happens, it's just awesome, and that's probably my favorite part, and it's really rewarding too. So.
Gotcha. Now you've been really successful at the freestyle level, on the folk style level. But can you tell me what you think your biggest area of growth has been over the last few years?
Um, Over the last few years, probably my feet. Because when I got to my club in seventh grade, I was slow on my feet. A lot of people were getting to my legs, but we started working on top right away, and I developed a crab ride, and I developed a leg series, and I kind of made some money on top before I started, primarily wrestling on my feet. And I think once I hit my freshman year, and I was wrestling Carmen Ferrante in the Bergen Catholic room every single day, and he was taking me down day after day after day after day, and that's when I just started to have to focus on getting better on my feet.
Yeah.
And that's where we worked on, changing levels, changing stances, getting out of there, hand fighting, because you can't. You watch Gilman and Fix and all these guys, and those are the two guys right now. Like those are the guys in my spot. Like that's the spot I want. And you see how hard those guys hand fight. They're clubbing each other, smacking each other. They don't care. So that's been like another huge area of improvement. Getting my hands active, and getting my hands on people so I can move them.
Gotcha. Now you've been exposed to a bunch of guys from Ferrante to Ramo, going on to the next level. When did you think you're going to be, a world cadet qualifier and want to wrestle in college? Did it happen right after the incident in 7th grade, or was it before that? Or
no, it was actually after. I went out to the Olympic Training Center my 8th grade year for the cadet world team camp, and that was like with Kurt, Yanni, Vito. This is the year the cadets won the title. It was crazy.
Okay.
And I was just kind of some nobody out there, just in the background, trying to beat a world team member maybe at a camp. And I looked at Corey Cooperman, who I've worked with for a number of years now. And it was after practice one day, and I was like, because all the guys were going to get a massage and they were going to get rubbed down, and I was kind of just like an extra, so I didn't get like that treatment. And I just looked at Corey and I was like, I'm making this team next year. I'm making it next year. And I'll just never forget it. He was like, okay, let's do it. And like right there, it was just like this mutual agreement where like we were going to go, make this team. And that was the goal from that moment on, because I had seen the facilities they get to use. I had seen the recovery stuff they get to use. I had seen the drill partners they had. I had seen the coaches, and I just wanted it. And I knew I wanted it. So that was when the decision was made that I was going to make my world teams.
Gotcha. You lost the state finals and then revenged that against Drexel wrestler Anthony Menino. Do you learn something from that? Does it drive you at all when you have a loss and get to face the guy again, or does it just kind of go out of your mind? Like, how do you deal with that, and how do you use it if you are dealing with it, like as a motivational thing?
I don't try to let it affect me too much. I mean, that match was annoying. That match got on my nerves.
Yeah. The first one?
The first one.
Yeah.
So it felt good to be able to wrestle the second one, and the blood was flowing through me when I was walking out there. I'll never forget it. I just remember, I just said in my head, I was like, it's go time. It was like, it's time to take back what you lost. And I just remember went out there, and by far, I initiated a lot more action. But we both our styles clashed. Like, his style's not good for me, my style's not good for him. And I don't know what it is, but it was just a war every time. He actually shot in overtime. And if I had been a second slow or like a quarter of a second slow, I would have been taken down. But I was able to, I dropped my hips, bounced back up, and, we just started funk rolling, and that's my home. Like, as soon as I rolled, I was kind of like, this is it. Like, I got it. Because I knew he can't scramble with me. There's not a lot of people who can scramble with me if I'm on my game. And, that's when everything was clicking. In that moment when it was all on the line and I had a choice to like lay down or make a state final again. And it was the latter, and just bounce back up, roll, and then you're in your wheelhouse. And then, just finish the position, get a takedown, win.
How old are you?
17. I turned 17 in March.
17. So your wrestling career is long, but it's also kind of just started, compared to where you're going. But do you replay certain matches in your mind that you wish you had back?
That I wish I had back. I think I used to.
Yeah.
I think when I was like, oh my god, like I can't believe I'm not like a 4-time state champ, like all this stuff. Like, why can't I have that match back now? Not anymore. If there is a few that I wish I could get back, it would be probably my Worlds matches from this year, from 2018.
From last, okay, yeah.
Because because it's so long. Like, it's a year, and another year, and I always blow it at the big show. So I always have to wait another year to go compete at that tournament, and that's probably what is like the worst part. There's no quick turnaround, and if I blow it out in Bulgaria, not saying that this wouldn't happen or it shouldn't happen to make a junior team, but now I'm back on the bottom of the totem pole. Now I'm back, to the 18-year-old in the 18 to 20 division.
Yeah.
And not saying it wouldn't happen because that's completely in my plans to make a junior team and to go win a junior world title, but this is the last chance for cadets, and you don't get any more chances after this. So we better make something go happen.
What did you learn from last year's experience? Anything that will change your preparation for this year in Bulgaria?
I don't know if it's that I learned like don't do this or don't do that. I just think like I remember on day 2 watching, and it hurt so bad. Like for the life of me, I had no control over anything. I had no say in who was winning matches. I had no say in who was going to win my weight class. Nothing. And that was the worst part, just kind of feeling, powerless and hopeless. And you're just there. And, you're in a foreign country. Can't do anything else. So you got to be sitting in that wrestling room watching wrestling. And, you don't want to be the guy sitting out.
Right.
You don't want to be that guy.
Right. So what's your summer look like from here to Bulgaria?
Well, I wrestled trials. I wrestled for about a week after, and I kind of, got a little sick, and now I'm feeling better. So I'll train for like the next 2 weeks before I go out to Colorado for a senior camp. Get back home, train for the rest of July, and then I have my camp end of July, and at the end of July we go straight from the OTC to Bulgaria. So, once I kind of start training now, it doesn't really stop.
Gotcha. Will you bring a training partner, or will it just be someone on the team?
I'm unsure yet.
Okay.
Usually the past few years it's just been kind of someone on the team. But I mean, last year I wrestled with he hadn't even placed in Akron that year, believe it or not. But I wrestled with Jesse Ibarra last year, the kid who I wrestled in the finals of Akron this year.
Yeah.
And that was a good training partner for me. So, I mean, we'll see what we can do training partner wise, but normally it's just kind of someone out there. And for the senior camp at the end of this month, I'm so looking forward to wrestling with, the older guys who hopefully are going to put a beat down on me because I kind of need one.
Speaking of beat downs, like wrestling older guys, I mean, you've mentioned it, like when you were younger, going up north and getting your butt kicked by some older guys. I don't know if are you even allowed to wrestle in the Penn State room since you've committed there or not?
NLWC, I can.
Okay.
Not like an official Penn State.
Gotcha. So I mean, I've talked to so many guys who have committed there, and I won a national champion, but it took me 4 months to get a takedown in the room.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? Does that just make you focus and skinny down what you're doing, or do you ever doubt yourself in those moments?
I mean, yeah. It just makes you. I went out to an NLWC practice, probably a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and this trip really just made me realize why I'm going there. I have seen great. I got to meet with the great coaches. They picked maybe 2-3 things for me to work on, small things that made a huge difference in my wrestling, and I noticed it in Akron. Coach Cody told me to add body fakes out of my chain wrestling and use my hands a lot more, and I feel like I did that. And then on the wrestling side, I get to wrestle with Roman Rebel Young, who just beats me up because that's fun for him.
Who was that?
Roman Bravo Young.
Oh, Roman. All right. Yeah.
So that's when you take a step back and it's like, wow, okay, like you're not at this level yet. Yeah. You come from here on the totem pole and you're back down. So I think it's just like I appreciate that. And I appreciate that there's levels to wrestling and that, some 15-year-old gigantic baby can't just walk up to a senior level tournament and, go win it. Yeah. I think I appreciate the development that it takes and that there's levels to the sport because, like, the top high school wrestler can walk into any given college room and, not be the best just because of the pace or the intensity. Like those college dudes, they're in different shape and they're big and they're wrestling every day and they're lifting every day. And, so I'm not saying that you can't go into a college room and go beat up everyone because you can, but go try to do it at Penn State and I bet you it doesn't work.
No kidding. So you've committed to Penn State. Can you tell me a little bit about your recruiting process? And do you have any advice for anybody else who's going through that process in the future?
There's going to be a lot of people that want you. And you can't make everyone happy. And a lot of people are going to take it personal. I know some coaches who have taken it personal, and I kind of think it's dumb because I'm 17 years old and, like, it's only a college. I'm only picking where I want to go to college. But you can only pick the place that is right for you. And I really felt that I made it a point that I wanted to wrestle in the Big Ten. My final 3 schools were all Big Ten schools: Michigan, Iowa, and Penn State. And I liked every school that I looked at. All 3 were great schools. And at the end of the day, when you took a look back and you just looked at everything, from a distance, because that's kind of what you have to do. You have to take yourself out of your shoes a little bit and just look at everything from the academic standpoint and the athletic standpoint and the coaching standpoint and the peer standpoint. You have to just look at everything for a second. And I kind of just figured that, the best team in the country with the best coaches in the country, 3 hours away from my house. I know a bunch of people that go there. It really felt like a better situation couldn't have been presented to me for me to be successful. And that's, that's what I wanted. Now my parents are going to get to come watch my matches on the weekend. And we're going to get to go out to Happy Valley. And if I feel like coming home ever, I can. I just feel like it's been the right decision all the way through.
Can you tell me which coaches were your primary contact during the process?
I mean, mostly, Coach Kale and Coach Cody. Really like those guys. Jake Varner reached out a few times, and we've talked. He's a great guy. But I stay in touch with Coach Kale and Coach Cody as much as I can.
Gotcha.
Because those guys are good dudes, and those are the guys with the secret recipe. So
they do have a recipe, man.
They do.
Coach Cody's getting older. You might be able to get back points on him pretty soon.
I don't know, man. Those dudes, they got some crazy stuff up their sleeves.
Right. Cody, I know he was wrestling Greco with Manville. I mean, the guy has got so many skills going on.
Really? He was wrestling Greco with Manville?
Yeah, that's what Manville told me. One of them told me that. He was his primary training partner for the last cycle.
That's crazy.
I don't think Cody had any background in Greco, but he's just an animal.
That's crazy.
Tell me a little bit about it. I'm not a huge social media guy, but I've seen some people taking some shots at you for leaving Jersey. Tell me a little bit about how you approach that on the social media with that.
That doesn't really bother me too much. It's just if you're a 41-year-old dude hating on me on Twitter, who's really the winner here? It doesn't really bother me. Because at the end of the day, it's for me. And that's it's what I want to do. And I'm not going to change my perspective or my opinion because some dude on Twitter who loves Rutgers wrestling wants me to go there so bad, and that's just not going to change my plans. So I think it's just I kind of laugh at it. I laugh at all of it, and a lot of it isn't good fun. Some people take it to the extreme and they take it really far, and they have their own separate issues to deal with. But it's just, I kind of just take it and we laugh and it rolls off my back. But, make no mistake, Penn State all the way.
Tell me a little bit about your official visit. Were you at a football game? What was it like and who were you interacting with?
We did go to a football game, and that was the weekend of the first wrestling match too. So we went to the football game, I think it was earlier in the day, and then later on we went to Rec Hall, and I remember walking in like the back entrance of Rec Hall and kind of just like looked up to like the sky and like the ceiling, like the rafters, and like the hair on my neck like stood up. And that's kind of when I knew. Like I was like, all right, this place is probably it. And that was the first visit.
Yeah.
That was the first visit. It was just that feeling that kind of like came over me. I was like, oh, like if I could wrestle in front of this place for the next 4 or 5 years of my life, I'd be doing something right.
It's a pretty awesome place to watch a match. I'm
Yeah.
sure to wrestle there, it's even more hair raising. Can you tell me, like, were you assigned to any wrestlers as far as like being escorted around and showing you a good time, or?
Not particularly because it was the week of the first match and everyone was kind of, it's kind of a scramble to get your weight down, and you make your weight for the first time, and this is really when you kick it off. So I kind of just was hanging around. I got to meet everyone though. I was hanging around with Bo, Mark, Chenzo, Luke Gardner, Joey Bloomer. So I had a great time. Just because those guys were so great, and then I got to watch them go and put it on against Kent State, and it was awesome.
Gotcha. So you talked about going into your senior year and kind of stepping up and being a leader on the Bergen Catholic team. So yeah, you got the cadet worlds, then you start your high school wrestling season. And do you have any specific goals after the cadet championships, like to close out your high school year or career?
The only thing I'm thinking about right now is a world title.
That's it. Yeah.
It's the only thing I care about. We'll discuss that after I come back.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I want to do like who's number one, and I want to wrestle and Doc Buchanan again. But those are all goals for another time. Because
has Willie asked you about who's number one or not?
Not yet.
All right. So
we'll have to see what weight he asks too, because if you ask me to go at 26 and it's a +5, I don't know. It's a big weight class.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. What do you think? All right. You said you could put on some weight. Where do you see yourself wrestling? Are you going to wrestle 26 this season in high school?
Yeah.
And where do you see yourself as in college?
I mean, right now we're still looking at 25.
Yeah.
Before it kind of was looking like been 120 some pounds since I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
Like this is not like old and it's not changing. So as a freshman, it was like walking into practice at 122 pounds is probably like, oh, he's going to be a 41, 33, 41 pounder. And over the last few years, it's dropped down to mostly looking like a 33. But look, man, I continue to pull 121 pounds at this thing every year, and I do it well every year. And 26 was not hard to make this year. So if I could, follow a diet and wrestle well at 25, like, why not? Because I'm not big, and I feel like that would be a good weight for me, 125.
Gotcha. If you were the king of the sport and you could make any changes in rules, folk style or freestyle, what would you do?
No hands to the face.
No hands to the face?
I just think like if you're in an aggressive hand-to-hand combat sport, like you're gonna get hit. Like I get poked in the eye all the time, and if it's on purpose, I'll be upset and I'll say something. But if I know he just didn't mean to poke me in the eye, like I'm gonna shake it off and we're gonna go back, to wrestling. But I think hands to the face is ruining the sport, and I think that being able to challenge hands to the face is ruining the sport. And I just think that what was wrong with wrestling, in 2012 and 2013 when Kyle Dake and David Taylor was drafted for national championships. You never had this kind of controversy and national title matches being decided by challenge points, and like that just wasn't happening. So I don't know if it's good for the sport. I don't know if I'm a big fan of it, but they're going to continue to do as they please and change all the rules they want. So I guess it's just adapting at this point. I mean, we're going to have to adapt to whatever they want to do. And it's going to be like that for the next few years.
Right. Yeah. Any wrestlers that you like to watch wrestle, whether they're Americans or foreign, wrestlers, or anybody? Are you that kind of guy who watches tape on, you know?
I watch Fix a lot. I think it's just like we wrestle similar, kind of the same stance, same style.
Uh-huh.
We have the same shot selection and some duck under. So I kind of just like, and obviously he's better than me, so I kind of just watch for what he does, and I can kind of mimic his style a little bit and add some of my own stuff in there. Because at the end of the day, I just like to watch wrestling and wrestlers who put up points. And when you can put up points and it's easy for me to watch a wrestling match the whole way through, that's what I want to watch. I don't want to watch 6 minutes of you and your friend stand in front of each other and go shot clock for shot clock. Like, that's my least favorite kind of match. And I think that when a wrestler can bring a high pace and high offense, and I can look to incorporate my offense with his, that's when I enjoy watching people wrestle, and I can do that with people like Burroughs and Fix and even what's his name, even Gilman, just that hard hand fight,
Yeah.
Taking center of the mat, just taking things from everyone that I might not be the best at, because I gotta hold center more, but I also gotta make sure I can move my feet. So just working on things, just working and playing every day.
Gotcha. You won't tell us what your actual weight is right now.
No, that's because I don't even know it, but yeah, I
Okay.
won't.
What's your favorite food? Like, what do you eat? Like, when after you've cut weight, and you made the world team. Like, what's your first thing you want to eat?
The first thing I want to eat, I probably want to, like, if I just made weight, I probably want to slim, like a Pedialyte, and then after that, if I had to eat something like for the last time,
Yeah. Last meal.
I'm gonna say it. Probably my mom's spaghetti and meatballs.
Oh yeah. Did you say your
Italian
mom's
style.
or just spaghetti and meatballs?
Spaghetti and meatballs and red sauce.
Okay. All right. Do you know what you're going to study when you're at Penn State, by the way?
I think I kind of have an idea, more of an idea than I did when I committed there. But still, like, kind of unsure. Something in business and finance, maybe.
Okay.
We'll see. I have some time to figure that out.
You're real young, but do you consider yourself like a wrestling lifer? Do you see yourself wrestling senior level after college and then going into coaching, or?
I mean, I was thinking about that last night, actually. Because this sport has so many places it can take you. It can take me into coaching. It can take me completely away from the sport. But I don't know. I mean, the plan is to win. The plan is to bag a few NCAA titles, make a few world teams, and go see what we can do at the Olympics in 2024. So, I mean, right now it's kind of just about training and getting better and taking it one step at a time. But once I have a better idea when I'm in college of what my goals are and how good I think I really can be, in the grand scheme of things, not thinking about like, oh, how good I could be on the ladder or how good I could be. We're talking about like all time. Like, if I can make a push to be like, an all time, great wrestler that someone's gonna look at back at and be like, oh, remember Robert Howard, like 2-time world champ, like he was good, like that kid was good. When I start to realize and believe in myself that I could be that good, then we'll make pushes for senior teams and stuff. But right now it's kind of just like having fun and doing what I do.
Gotcha. You've wrestled all over the place. Is there anybody that you've wrestled that you just genuinely don't like?
Don't like to wrestle?
Yeah, just don't, or don't like his. One, you don't look forward to wrestling him, or two, you just don't like his personality.
Okay. So I'm calling out a wrestler here.
Okay. No one's going to hear this. Go ahead.
Genuinely don't enjoy wrestling. Dylan Cedeno. He's my teammate. I don't like wrestling him.
Because it's hard?
because it's hard and he moves so much, and sometimes it's just like, dude,
Gotcha.
relax.
All right.
But no, I don't enjoy wrestling him, and my coach knows that. So when my coach knows I need like a good go, or he wants me to stop acting like a little girl, he'll be like, "Go wrestle Dylan."
That's
every
awesome.
time, every time, man.
All right. Hey, do you ever get distracted out in the mat? You ever think
Uh
I didn't do my homework? Shit.
nah,
No.
nah. It's not. It's not like that. When I wrestle, I try to be in the moment, and I try not to be thinking about anything really. Just like my reactions. I mean, if I'm thinking about stuff, my reactions are gonna be like quarter of a second slower. Everything's gonna be a little bit slower. So if I can just be thinking in real time and reacting in real time, then that's the best scenario for me.
Is it a challenge to be a world level wrestler and maintain your academics?
It does get challenging at times, yeah. I think just because of the travel and the missing school. Like I can keep up with school if I'm in the class every day and it's just easy. But it becomes difficult when you start to miss stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just need to once you just go in and get like all your makeup stuff, and you just gotta grind through it. There's no way around it. You're kind of just gonna have to go do it. Staying after it and all that stuff. But that's a small price you gotta pay. If you want to be at this level and you want to do the things that these kids have the opportunity of doing, and that's at the highest level in our sport. So if you really want to be this good, there's a lot of sacrifices you're gonna have to make.
Gotcha. Are you good at something else besides wrestling? Like at the same degree? Like you have other hobbies that you excel
At the
at?
same degree, no.
No.
Um,
Are you a gamer?
I am a gamer. I play Fortnite.
Now, Mark Hall told me winning Fortnite was almost as good as winning a national championship. Have you ever
It
won it?
feels so good. Yesterday, I was playing with my brother, and we both had a 13 kill duo dub, and it felt so good. It just feels so good. Because, like, normally, like, all these kids who, like, game, like, they go so hard. Like, all these kids who have no life, and they just play video games all day, and it makes it not fun to be, like, a casual gamer anymore. Because, like, I can't do all the crazy stuff. So, like, if you're a casual gamer, it's kind of like, it's rough nowadays because everyone's so good. But no, not to the same degree. Wrestling, can I play Fortnite? No, I cannot do that.
It's funny. My brother-in-law helped develop that game, and he was saying something recently about that. Like he doesn't play it very often because he's busy designing other things or updates. But he can't go on there and casually play Fortnite because he'll get destroyed.
Yeah, there's so many like good, ridiculously good kids for no reason.
Oh crap!
All these kids just want to be famous and go on YouTube and do all that stuff.
Yeah. All right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs. You got a dog.
You already kind of said your favorite wrestler to watch is it's Fix.
Probably Dayton, yeah.
Yeah. Favorite food: meatballs, spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah.
When you think about your worlds, like what's the word or self-talk you have as going forward to Bulgaria?
Well, for me right now, it's just be positive. Just be grateful for the opportunity that you have. Be given a third chance, man. Most people haven't. Most people will get two, maybe even one. The lucky, or not the luckiest person, but the first person to have three opportunities to go back and do this. So I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I'm coming this time, and I'm coming hard, and I don't want to. I don't really want to go out there and go, 1-1. This year I'm coming, and it's going to take a lot to derail me.
How about a sentence for Bergen Catholic Wrestling?
A sentence.
Or two.
Describing it?
Yeah.
How about a word? Just family. Those guys are just they're just my family. And every year we add more great people to it. And every year great people leave it. But they'll always be in it because, the alumni connection that we have. And, people from, 1994 are still tied in with people from 2018, and it's awesome to have that, and it's just a big gigantic brotherhood and a family, and that's the only way I can really describe it.
Jersey wrestling.
Tough, just tough.
Robert Howard.
Controversial.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think people don't agree with some of the things I say, but the thing is, people get all upset with me and about the things I say, but I would never say something, one, that hurts anybody, or two, that isn't a 100% fact. Because, like, if I'm just going to say something stupid and it's going to have, like, some kind of controversy behind it, like, I got to be able to back myself up with facts. Like, I can't just, like, oh, but he said this and he said that. Like, people get angry at the things I say, but I've only said facts that these people don't, like, want to agree with or admit. Like, I'll never be like, oh, like, I'm the best cadet freestyle wrestler of all time. But I'll just be like, I'm the only person to make 3 world teams.
Right.
So, like, it's different and it's controversial, and I kind of like it, but it's whatever.
What would you tell people to watch for in Bulgaria?
People to watch for in Bulgaria. Just look for Robert Howard being Robert Howard. I think that if we can get my feet moving, we can get my hands moving, I think that we can have, a really good shot at bringing back something here. And I want it to be a gold medal.
Gotcha. Hey, I really appreciate you taking the time. Good
Absolutely.
luck in Bulgaria. I'll try and catch up with you afterwards and, get some spaghetti and meatballs in now before you start getting down to 21.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for everything. I appreciate it.
Hey, one last thing. Anything for the Penn State fans?
Just be excited. I'm bringing the energy. And the other thing is, a lot of people ask me this on Twitter or whatever, I'm bringing my attitude to Penn State too. I mean, maybe they'll be able to tame it a little bit, but I still got a little Jersey kick to me. Nice. So that'll happen too.
Sounds good. Thanks for the time.
Thank you. Enjoy your day.